Today is the day the Lord has made, and I'm going to rejoice. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. You know, I know I haven't done these in a minute, but I came with a testimony today. You know, when I went to the doctor, I believed God for a miracle. I believe that when they pulled up those images, that the tumor would be completely gone. But when they looked at it, the scan and everything, it was still there. I was stunned. You know, I'm like, God, I just asked you for this one thing, you know, but just because they could still see it didn't mean that God wasn't already working on it. I should have had more faith, right? But I didn't think like that. I was like, oh my gosh, the surgery's cancer's still there. But then the Bible says in Deuteronomy 31 and 8, the Lord, He it is that doth go before thee. That means before I entered that hospital, God was already there. Before they prepared the operating room, God was already there. I got a testimony. Listen, before the surgeon picked up the instrument, God had already gone in ahead of him. The doctors, they're great. Penn Medicine is fantastic. They performed the surgery. They removed the tumor. And when the pathology report came back today, a few minutes ago, it said that 41 to 50% of the tumor was already necrotic. That means it was already dead. The doctors call it necrosis, but my faith tells me that God had already started working before the surgeons even got there. That may not make you happy. That may not make you want to shout, but if I could, I would have run all around my yard. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't need the doctors. I thank God for every doctor. Thank God for every nurse, every technician, every praying saint. God uses medicines. He uses surgeons. He uses skilled hands, but the surgeon may have taken it out. God had already gone in. Somebody ought to just shout, God was already there. The surgeon removed it, but God contained it. Oh man, the surgeon operated, but God kept it from spreading. The surgeon used the instrument, the robotic arms, but God guided his hands, and when they examined the margins, there was no cancer at the edges. God said, this far and no further. That's it. He put a border around it. The enemy thought he was planting something in me that would destroy me. Isaiah, I say this all the time, 54 and 17 says, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. Notice the Bible didn't say that the weapon would not form. It showed up on the scan. It had me scared. It had a name, papillary renal cell carcinoma. But it didn't prosper. It formed, but it didn't spread. It formed, but it didn't take my whole kidney. It formed, but it didn't take my life. Look at me. It formed, but God put a boundary around it. The cancer was grade 3, but it wasn't stage 3. It was caught early, and it was confined to my kidney, and it was removed with clear margins. Clear margins. That's why Psalms 118:17 says, I shall not die, but live, declare the works of the Lord. I'm still healing. I'm still sore. Still follow appointments, and I'll keep every one of them. But I am sitting here, all right? I'm not standing. I'm sitting here today because God kept me. Here's the part. Maybe you're looking at something that appears unchanged. Maybe you prayed, but the problem is still visible. Maybe you cried, but the situation is still sitting right in front of you. Do not confuse what you can still see with what God has already started killing. Started removing it, started cleaning things up. God can be working beneath the surface. God can be cutting off its power. God can be restricting its reach. God can be preparing the people who will help bring you through this thing. The scan showed it.